GRE questions. Okay, there are 4 of these, starting with number 4. So let's do this. For this one, we're just evaluating. So we're going to evaluate, in these brackets, we have 4 plus 8 over 2 minus, parentheses, negative 6, in brackets, close them out, minus another bracket, 4 plus 8 divided by 2 minus negative 6 in parentheses in brackets. So we see when we do our order of operations, we see that there's 2 sets of brackets. Now you can do either one first, but we'll go from left to right since that seems to be the way to go when it comes to the bracketing. So we'll do the left side first. So in this case we have, that's right here, 4 plus 8, as we know, is 12. Okay? So we know that. 2 minus a negative, we'll take that negative and make it positive. So instead of 2 minus a negative, it would be 2 plus 6, which gives us 8. We'll come back to that one later, okay? And then we'll go into minus. Then we have brackets here. We have order of operations that we need to worry about, because this one was easy because it was only plus and minus, but this one has division in it. So make sure you remember the order of operations, PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Remember that when you go into doing these questions. So we have 4 plus and then minus, and we have the division. So of course we do the division first. We have 4 plus, and whatever 8 divided by 2 is, which we find out is 4. 4 plus 4 minus a negative 6 in brackets. Okay, so now that we have them set up, let's go through here and solve this. So this is pretty much gone, so this can go away. You can either put 3 halves or 1.5, that's up to you. But we'll stick with it, and we'll just use 3 halves, because we'll do it that way. Minus, then we have 4 plus 4, which is 8 minus a negative 6, which, as we just saw before, 8 minus a negative 6 is more 8 plus 6. So when we do this, we have 8 plus 6, and we have 3 over 2 minus 14. Now, if you want to do this, make it over 2, we can do it the same way as well. Since these are over, this is over 1, technically, we could do it this way. 3 over 2 minus, and since if you multiply 2 over 2, which 2 divided by 2 is 1, you still get it this way, which will be 28 over 2. And when you get the end, you get negative 25 over 2. If you want to simplify that down to decimal form, you'll see that it'll be, or negative 12.5. Okay? So that's how you evaluate number 4. Okay? So now, we'll go on to number 5 here in a second. We'll go through and let you take a screenshots, whatever you need to do, and then we'll go on to the next. Okay? Now we're going to go on to number 5. It says simplify x minus 3 minus x in those parentheses. Now, when it comes down to this, since we're not trying to go through and solve for x, all we can do is find out what x could be. So when you look at this negative, and the negative applies to the whole thing, you distribute this negative to here. What you really don't see is negative 1. So it'll be pretty much x minus 1 times 3 minus x. So you have x, and you have minus, what is negative 1 times 3, which is 3, and then negative 1 times negative x equals plus x. Okay? So when you do that, you have 2x, because that's what these two add together, minus 3. Now, it doesn't ask you to go in and find out what x is. It just says simplify. So if you're just trying to simplify, that's your answer. Don't go any further. Now, if it says simplify and find out what x is, or find out x is, then you would take this whole thing and you make it equal to 0. Then you make sure you get the x's all on one side. So it's plus 3, plus 3. This cancels out. You got 2x equals 3. And then to get the x to 1x, you just divide by 2, and x equals 3 halves. Of course, this is for solving for x. Okay, so we kind of did a two-parter there, but sometimes they might trick you into doing that. So, okay, so that's number 5 right here, which I forgot to write. Okay, so we'll go from there, get your little screenshots in there, and then we'll start on number 6. Okay, 6. I'll write this down this time. Okay, this one is another simplify. We have parentheses 4 minus y. Then we have minus 2 times 2y minus 3. Now, this one's pretty much already set and done. This one you have nothing to worry about. So you don't really need parentheses in it, but we're going to just bring this down. 4 minus y. But like we did before, instead of having just a negative 1, we already have a 2 there. So this negative 2 right here will go from here and to here. So when we do that, we have minus negative 2 times 2y, which is 4y. We have negative 2 times negative 3, which is a positive 6. So that's the whole equation now. So now let's go in and add and subtract like terms. So we have negative y minus 4y, which is negative 5y. Then we have 4 plus 6, which is plus 10. Now this is the answer simplified, as asked in the question. Now again, we'll go through and do a little extra step just in case. And if we need to find out what y is, solving for y, we'll put this negative 5y equals, well, we'll erase this quick, plus 10 equals 0. To get here, we could either, I'll do it easy way, let's do add plus 5y plus 5y. This cancels, and we got 10 equals 5y. Then in order to get y down to 1, we divide by 5. Divide by 5, and 10 divided by 5 equals 2 equals y. Okay? This is if we solve for y. Okay? So there's number 6 we have done. We have the simplified version, which is right here. This will be your answer. And if they decide to go solve for y, then this will be your answer for that. Alright? I'll give you a second to go through and make any changes you need or any screenshots. Alright. Time going to the last one. See, number 7 says solve for x. Okay, so now we need to find out what x is. So they give us 2 times 2 minus 3x minus 2, oh my bad, I went the wrong one. 2 minus 3x minus 4 plus x equals 7, okay? So now we'll go through and we have parentheses. Let's distribute everything we have. So on this side, we have 2 times 2, which is 4, and we have boom and boom. Then we have 2 times negative 3x, which is negative 6x. And remember, this negative is more like a negative 1. So we have negative 1 times 4, and then negative 1 plus x. So negative 1 times 4 is minus 4. Then negative 1 times x, which is minus x, equals 7. Now, let's go through here and we'll add and subtract like terms. So we have 4 minus 4 is 0, so we're not going to put that. Then we have negative 6x minus x, which is negative 7x. And then that's everything we have on this side, and then of course we have nothing to add or do anything on this side. It's 7. So in order to get x to a positive x or 1x, we divide by negative 7. This cancels out, makes it x. And then we divide this by negative 7 as well. And this gives us negative 1. This will be to solve for x. Now, if it asks you to do more work and to prove it, what you gotta do is just take this right here, this original equation, and plug in negative 1. Okay, we'll do that here. So we have 2 times 2 minus 3 times negative 1 minus 4 plus a negative, but then in parentheses, 1 equals 7. Okay, so let's do, I'll put the extra parentheses in there. Let's do the parentheses first. We have 2 times 2 minus 3 times 1. So now we do the order of operations. We have 2 minus negative 3 times negative 1 is plus 3. Okay? And we have minus, we have 4 plus negative 1, which is 3. So this will be minus 3 equals 7. Okay? Now remember this is a negative 1, so you distribute it through everything. So we have minus 3 equals 7. And then we have distribute this and this. So it's 4 plus 6 minus 3 equals 7. When you do that, you have 10 minus 3 equals 7. And 7 equals 7. So this shows that it checks out. That what we have for our x, the negative 1, I'll even bring it right down here too, shows us that negative 1 equals x, and if it wasn't equal to 7, when you put in that x in, that means the answer is incorrect. Okay? So this was the questions for this week. I'll post some more questions on Monday. If you want to go through and put your answers in, that's fine. I tend to like people who put the comments in to see how they are. And of course, right now, these are going to be very simple, but we're going to get into more difficult stuff because, of course, the test does get a little bit more difficult, and we'll go into it that way. If you like what you saw, please like and follow me on GMAT and GRE Math Made Simple. You can go on my website, GMAT and GRE mathmadesimple.com, and you can go and see there. There's different things on there. I have some products that you can go in, some services like one-on-one coaching, and of course I do have a membership where it's once a month, and I have some questions that I pose to you that are like this and a little bit more difficult, but there's definitely enough questions for you to answer for the month, and then of course I'll answer those with you. Okay, and also I have events every month. We have networking events every month at the last Friday up at Manhattanville Coffee up on Edgecombe Ave. Every last Friday of each month. If you want to come and just talk and maybe get a coffee, hot chocolate, tea, whatever you like, that's fine. Come out there. I'll be there between 5 and 6, just like tonight. Tonight I think is the last Friday of this month. I'll be there from 5 to 6, and I hope to see you there. All right, bye-bye.